Hello, this is a game against Alibby1152 in the ladder up tournament. The goal of this tournament is not to win each match, but to outperform your rating potential in each match. So essentially what that means is if you are a big rating favorite of your opponent, you have to do better than your rating says. In this game against Alibby, I am a slight favorite, so I need to win 3.5 out of 6 games to win the match. Earlier today, it was a little bit higher than that, so Alibby must have played some games in the meantime and had their rating go up. I'm going to get Silk Merchant here. That seems pretty normally the thing to do. Silk Merchants are good. Ghost Ships are good. Yeah. So because I got the Ghost Ship, I consider, more so consider getting a Shantytown than I would otherwise. Such that I could top deck. If I drew a Seanahan and a Silk Merchant, I could top deck the Silk Merchant and put the Seanahan for +2 cards. Trashing is really weak here with just Altar. So you probably want to get some Ghost Ships to attack every turn. You want to get Dens of Sin. Silk Merchants are really good to draw. A couple of Shantytowns for a Village effect. Maybe a Necro to do Necro stuff. I'm really not sure. I think I'm going to go for the Shantytown. It plays nicely with the Silk Merchant. And definitely draw on here. And with 6, I consider Ghost Ship or Altar. I think I'm just going to get an Altar, though. Altar's going to be pretty nice to turn your estates into Ghost Ships or Dens of Sins or things. Dens of Sins is probably the nicest for Altar because you can play it immediately that turn. With 3 again, I guess I'm just going to get another Shantytown. Yeah, I knew the attack was coming. So I can figure out if I want to go... If I want to play the Silk Merchant, I think probably that I'll just top deck the Silk Merchant and then turn a copper into a Den of Sin on my turn. Don't really need to buy anything. You can really load up on the Silk Merchants, I guess. If you have too many of them, you can play them as Way of the Ox. To be clear, if you Way of the Ox one and then play the other, that's sort of net neutral. But so I'm going to draw these 2 cards with Den of Sin no matter what, so it doesn't actually matter what I picked there. I'm going to try to get my own Ghost Ship this turn. Since I can't actually play a Ghost Ship if I buy it, I can really strongly consider getting another Den of Sin here, and I think that is what I'm going to do. And then a Silk Merchant. And again, because I have the Den of Sin in play, the thing I mentioned with the Shantytown Silk Merchant doesn't work. So this will now be my Ghost Ship, a little bit later than I wanted to, but I'm still pretty happy with that. This turn, I'm definitely going to expend a Villager to draw with the Silk Merchant. See if I can find a Shantytown or more coppers. I guess it doesn't do that much, but I can now gain a Silk Merchant. Is that what I wanted to do? I think that... Is that what I wanted to do? I guess that is what I wanted to do. I'm not quite sure what I wanted to do here. So I've got multiple things here. I think I'm going to get one more Shantytown. I'm not like really crazy about that, but and if they attack me here, which they attacked me last turn, so it isn't 100% likely, but they have trashed a card, so their deck's a little bit, well, my deck's thinner, certainly. They did not find it. Okay, this is very nice. I'm always going to play the Ghost Ship first, because that's the one I want to play, definitely. Here I can play the Shantytown. Draw on here. Shantytown. Draw on. Seanahan, draw on. The altar is the literal bottom card of the deck, which is annoying, but that is life. So they went with the second altar. I can somewhat strongly consider doing that myself. I think, though, I'm just going to get another Den of Sin in play. And I'm almost certainly going to get attacked by Ghost Ship here. Yeah, as we see, but I'm going to draw those 2 plus 2 more, which is fine. And I'm going to be close, probably not this turn, maybe next turn, to getting a windfall. I'd like to thin a couple more coppers, which makes sense to what they did with the second altar, especially because they were a bit behind on trashing. And they're now having a pretty decent turn, but again, we haven't fully cleaned up these decks yet. Yeah, I can't really play this because I don't have any actions left. Can I? No. So it's unfortunate that I don't get a Ghost Ship in play, but I will gain another Den of Sin and buy a Silk Merchant. And so I've been able to thin all 3 estates and a copper. They've been able to thin 1 estate and 1 copper, so I'm 2 ahead on trashing. I'm 2 ahead on Dens of Sin. They've got an extra altar and a Candlestick Maker. I don't see the Candlestick Makers doing a lot here. I think you're going to end up playing it as in Ray of the Ox, but I don't know. It seems like a dead card in your shuffle. I'm not quite sure. But if you had 2 and wanted to play it for some reason, wanted to buy something and didn't want to spend a coffer, or just had 2 for some reason, it ends up being a Necropolis. Necropolis being the standard name for any card, which is plus 2 actions and nothing else. So the worst kind of village effect that could exist. My guess here is they don't have the Ghost Ship because they played it last turn. Well, they're playing on, so. Okay. Shantytown first, then Silk Merchant to draw. What do I have at the bottom of the deck? The question is if I want to go for Windfall here, or do I want to wait 1 more turn? I have another Den of Sin down there, so I definitely want to draw it. So I do have enough money now for Windfall. And I have 2 dens coming in. 3 dens coming in, I guess, if I buy a den here, which I will. And because that comes to my hand, normally Altar would gain it to my discard pile and I have to draw it. Because that comes to my hand, it does make sense now that I can Windfall. I'm going to have 2 extra net draw this turn because I played an extra Den of Sin. But -2 because they've got a Ghost Ship this turn that they didn't have last turn. And sometimes there's cards that attack your opponent, knights or swindlers or something, and you need to be a little bit careful in a situation like this. But in this kind of game, there's sort of no effect that bothers me in terms of what I top deck, since I'm going to be drawing 6 cards on my turn with Den of Sin, which is a really strong card. And then I'm going to have a couple Silk Merchants in there, a couple Shantytowns, and I have all this gold now. Oof, I drew all green cards, or all yellow cards. I didn't draw any of my merchants. And I have no, well, okay. So I can alter for a Silk Merchant and then play the Shantytown. So I will do that because that lets me keep my turn going. Yeah, that's a really nice interaction. With the Silk Merchant, you gain the Villager, and then I can continue to play on. Okay, and that's my deck. And 1 Silk Merchant in the discard pile. So the game's going to end here pretty quickly. I've got 13 money and 2 coffers, probably don't want to spend those. I'm thinking about going Den of Sin, Silk Merchant, knowing that they do potentially have 2 gains with the altars. So that is something that I need to watch out for. I could also go like Den of Sin, Province here, and feel decent about that. With 13, that saves me my 2 coffers. I could also go Den of Sin, Silk Merchant, Duchy, because the amount of money they have is... I've trashed 2 coppers, so they've got 5 coppers, potentially 1 coffer, no silver, 6. So they only have 6 money, I think, total in their deck. So they have 2 gains with the altar, and then they can alter for Candlestick Maker or something, get +1. But if they effective gains, I think they can only gain 2 Shantytowns. I guess I can play it a little risky. I think I'm going to go Silk Merchant. Well, then I can't win. I'm trying to win next turn, and maybe they haven't even done the windfall yet. So I'm going to do Den of Sin, Province, and see what they do on their next turn. I also keep my 2 coffers for more action. They're only starting with +2 cards, so they've got a lot less ability to have a big turn. Yeah, I somehow got ahead there. I'm not quite sure exactly how. Maybe I'll post in the comments if I have anything insightful. I got thin faster with the altar, and the ghost ship attack didn't seem that bad. I'll see you in the next game.